Most creators are broke with 100,000 followers, even 1,000,000 followers. But if you ask me, I'd rather have 20K in the bank each month with no followers or with not a lot of followers than 200,000 fake followers. Looking at you. So in this video, let me show you a process how I would take a small Instagram channel who basically has followers and some views going on to actually set up the whole monetization side of things to pull in easily $5, $10, actually $20,000 a month with not that many views. All right, so this is Vanessa, and she, among thousands of other people, have sent me their Instagram to review. And we already kind of talked about the content pit, especially about the hooks. By the way, congrats to 8,000 followers right here. There you go. But let's actually talk about the other moving parts that turn into actual cash, right? But a lot of people don't really understand that the views part is great and all, and obviously the biggest lever if you know what to do here. However, you need to set this lever up in a way that it actually enables you to convert those viewers into actual paying customers and not make them run around like chicken because they don't know what to do and what's going on. They just know, I got some grain. Right? So sometimes it's small tweaks in the whole ecosystem that, positioning and the way she actually structures her content strategy, and obviously in the funnel, which is basically everything that comes after people look at her content. And in that case, we need to structure also the content and the positioning in the way that people have clear starting points to kind of go away from Instagram. Yep, the algorithm hates that, generally speaking, but your bank account loves that. And this is the reason why we don't need to have that many viewers to convert people and to make a bunch of money. So let's get into this whole thing. If we look at Vanessa here, okay, digital creator, she can totally remove that, but exploring what it means to feel strong, safe, and in tune with my body. Okay, currently building dream physique biz. Right. We've already kind of talked about some of the hooks and how I would change them. And just by looking at her hook, for example, one thing that I saw was that she was like, yeah, it's okay to be overeating, right? And I was like, okay, she's helping people with the whole binge eating, overeating, build of his physique, building the dream physique. So easily 5, 10, 20 plus K a month with these followers, right? Depending on her offer structure. And in my frank opinion, if I were her right now, I would just focus on one offer and serving one group of people, and that's it. And ideally, in this case, it should be a higher ticket offer, right? Anything that she can charge upwards of $1,000 for. Honestly, more, right? Ideally, upwards of $3,000. And I don't know what she's actually doing right now and how well she's pulling in the business side of things, right? So the first thing that we usually need is pulling people off, a way to kind of pull people off. That's a beautiful arrow from your content. And there's basically only 2-3 different ways of that. You need, stories, story replies to get people off to your links, offers, and email list. Okay, that's the most important thing, honestly, the whole email list side of things. Second thing are obviously reels, right? Strategic reels where you pull people over, and then obviously the link in bio, which is a small thing, yet so many people think it's the most important thing. It is not bad. Honestly, my link in bio, I started to track that on my sort of semi-active Instagram account, still pulled in, I think it was 14K last month. Just people clicking there and checking out what's up, right? We'll talk about this way more in depth in some other videos. But so basically that's what you need. Stories, reels, link in bio. From there on, you basically want to nurture them in your email sequence and show them your offer, right? Whatever that is. Okay, we'll talk about this a little more in a second. But first of all, let's take a look. What does she have in her stories right now? Obviously nothing, right? What does she have in her story highlights? Because that's the other thing, what people forget. Yes, you can totally send people off through your story highlights, but it looks like no, she has a SM agency, which seems to have nothing to do with the whole page. And that's the first highlight here, 93 weeks ago. And even the first image right here has nothing to do with, well, okay, cafe dreams for today's shoot. So this is right now non-existent. The other thing that we're going to take a look at are the reels, right? Does she have reels that make people basically join her email list, see any of the offers or whatever it is? By the way, to kind of get all of this done is we're going to use a tool called ManyChat, not sponsored, at least not right now. They generally are my partner, but they don't even know anything about this, the second channel. So as you can see, I've been using ManyChat for 5 5 years probably. And it's basically a way to get people away from your content and onto your email list. That's the most important thing. So we're going to see what does she have. And usually the way we can track that is by seeing if she has some call to action where people leave a certain word or a certain phrase, and then she sends them their link. In this case, 22 hours ago, 5 days ago. There, I found one. Shred it. She has something a very weak call to action, but let's not get into this right now. Comment shred it, and I'll send to you my full guide, right, in terms of how she got shredded. Lots of people actually commented it, which means lots of potential leads for her coaching offer or whatever she has. So what we're going to do is I actually commented shredded already, and there's already a bunch of things that I'm like, this is not ideal. So first of all, she says, hey there, I'm happy for you here. Thank you so much for your interest. Click below and I'll send you the link in just a second. Then I clicked below, sent me the link, and only then there's another message where I actually can click to get the guide. Usually everything marketing, everything content creation, we want people to have to do the least amount of steps possible, right? Because there's just going to be a drop off the more steps you have people do. In this case, why do they have to click twice, right? You're going to lose conversions, and just losing a bunch of people, a bunch of percent actually means losing a bunch of money, right? So yeah, in this case, we get sent to this page right here, which is Gumroad. It's all right, to be honest, but it's not the best. The first thing I instantly see, and whenever you want to optimize something for Instagram, you always need to make it small, right? And look, how does it look for, people on the phone? In this case, it's all right because Gumroad kind of optimized it. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't recommend people necessarily to use it, but it's not bad. But the first thing I instantly see is we have a 2-star rating, right? It's only 1 rating, so I don't know what's going on, but somebody didn't like it, and that's the first initial thing I see right off the bat. But anyway, let's just take a look at this. In this case, she actually has the option for people to name a fair price to want this. I'd be super interested in terms of how many people actually pay for this, but I'm just going to check. I'll put in $10 and let's just see what will happen. One thing that honestly for me is super stupid is the add a tip thing. I'm already why would I add a tip? I'm buying something off of her, at least from the standpoint of somebody who buys from her. Like, add a tip. This instantly, like, if you can remove it, I have no idea, but instantly this just puts me off. And honestly, I would just rage leave here because it's stupid. It's honestly super stupid. So there you go. I purchased it. I'm going to give her a 5-star review just because I want her to succeed and I don't want her to have this 2-star rating outside. But here's the template. I'm not going to share the whole thing because I don't want to give it away for people. However, upon taking a look, it's actually not bad. She has some video lessons, even though they're kind of layered in as Instagram links. I wouldn't do that. I would create separate lessons and host them somewhere because you have to always think of that. Because people who get your free stuff, they still want to feel like they got something exclusive, whether it's free or whether they paid for it. Especially here, you can make people pay for it. And yeah. Honestly wouldn't, just because of the perceived value bit. But the actual thing I wanted to talk about here is the call to action. What's next? And if you've watched my other video, this is actually part of how I make money with Instagram as well. Even if it's not that active, I have, sent them off through either of these. I have a lead magnet. In the lead magnet, I have a call to action for people to kind of want to take this to the next level. At the same time, I take their email addresses, pull them through some welcome sequence, and then both of these things send them to a landing page or a calendar or an offer, right? Whatever that is. And so this call to action is actually important, very, very important. I can see the ChatGPT dash, but there you go. In this case, the call to action is just for them to follow her on Instagram and just changing this saying, well, here's what's up. If you want to take this to the next level, here's your pain point. Here's how I can help you with this. Let's hop on a free 15-minute call, or let's reach out, DM me this, or here's my landing page with your VSL and stuff like this. Any of these are better than actually getting people to, follow me. Because here's the thing, they already come from your content. So ideally, you've done something there to make them follow you. Basically, think about what we talked about before. We want less friction. And going off of Instagram, opening this lead magnet, going through this, and then you get the follow me, and they're like, okay, there's too much friction. I need to go back, find her on Instagram, stuff like this, right? So just changing this to a call to action that actually makes them take the next step in terms of the buyer journey is going to do something, right? You're going to get way more leads from there. With that being said, the second part that we have here is basically the link in bio. Let's just open this right here. And honestly, this is honestly, if I may be honest here, it's one of the worst link in bios ever, because Linktrees especially, people get this wrong a lot. And just take a look here. We have a strong start. Vanessa with a good profile picture, helping you build confidence through fitness, wellness, and content. Might be, I don't know what exactly that means, fitness, wellness, and content. But then we have this guide, right? Which I think is the same thing that we just bought. In this case, how I structured my 12 months cut. Cool. That's cool. But the thing is, download the guide. That's the major thing that people see. People don't read this first because this looks like a picture. People read this first. So yeah, so structure this differently. However, as we go down, this is where it starts to get really confusing, and this is where you're going to hurt. This is what costs you all of the sales and everything you have. Salon vouchers. What is that? How does that even relate to my stuff? I don't even know what's going on. 88 for 100. Which salon? And what's going on, right? I have no idea. That's, in my opinion, totally not in the same line as your real target audience, why they came for you. Same thing here for the whole high protein favorites. Seems like there's some affiliate links. And especially with lower view numbers, honestly, unless you have millions of views a month, affiliate links are not going to help you. Even then, right? How much can you make, right? A few $1,000s. $10,000 maximum with affiliate links. Cool as a side thing if it makes sense, but you're soon going to see if you push your own products and if you create your own solutions, the effort is just not worth it, right? Because you're going to be able to have way more leverage with your own stuff, and these small things are just going to take away from your main offers. So also, people are going to confuse, and only down there is the whole work with me thing. This should be probably up there here, right? And get rid of most of these things. But here's where it's getting even more confusing for me. Work with me, one-on-one content clarity for creators, businesses, book a session. So, content clarity course, a soulful reset and strategy system for creators and founders. So even this, I have no idea what that is and why. It's, again, not in alignment with her audience in this case, which in my opinion was help you build confidence through fitness, wellness, and okay, that's the content. So, well, is this really a pain point, the confidence part? That I'm like, okay, content. Maybe if it's a content confidence kind of thing. But if you target people in terms of the fitness and your content is also related to binge eating or overeating or losing weight and body fat shredding and stuff like this, content is, again, not total non-alignment with any of these things. Also, there's a Philips air fryer. Affiliate products that we use on the daily. Cool and all, but it's not going to get you anywhere, right? I used to think that as well. I used to spam my YouTube, especially back in the days, with links, all these affiliate links. I used to pull in hundreds of thousands of views. I mean, still do, but back in the days, way more, because I went for let's not even get into that. I went for maximum width and maximum views. And still then, I had like $30 a month from Amazon affiliate. Just stupid. But then you push your agency. So this is what I see a lot with lots of creators who are not able to make money with their content. There's a disconnect between the content. Actually, let's just scribble this somewhere. Your offers. There's a disconnect between her content, which means in the extended sense, her target audience, right? So it seems like she's not really clear in terms of who she wants to target, and her offers, right? And the things that she actually has to make money and, in this case, help her target audience, right? It's all connected. And everything in between, like the lead magnets and the whole email sequence, in case she has some emails going out, are totally not in alignment and just confuses people. And it just waters down the whole thing, because we have here the content, her agency, then she has some one-on-one sessions with content, then she has the lose weight kind of thing, lose body fat, become more confident. So there's so many things that are not really connected with each other, right? In order to make money fast and grow an audience that's way stronger and that actually has way more views and reach and stuff like this, focus on the main issues of this target audience. Yes, there might be an overlap, but in this case, I would go back all the way to the start, take a look at the target audience and really figure out what are their main 1 to 3 pain points and where can I come in to help them fix them, or actually fix them for them, if you have a service or whatever it is, right? And from there on, you go backwards to basically think of their pain points, your offer, and then basically reverse engineer your content to helping them with this fix and nothing else. Okay? It can be super focused, right? There's nothing against building a personal brand that's like broad and stuff like this. It can work. It's going to take a while and it's way less predictable. With this system, it's 100 times more predictable while being able to almost instantly make money. And you do have 8,000 followers right now. So first thing I would do is go to your audience and figure out like what are their actual 1 to 3 main pain points and then drill down on it, right? So if you were part of the creator mentorship, the first thing we would do is we take a look at all of your content right now and see what it works, what right now actually moving the needle, both in terms of views and reach, engagement, but also in terms of leads that you get if you haven't tracked this already. And then from there on, basically, I create a content strategy that triggers all their pain points and that systematically, right, at least once or twice a week has a ManyChat DM call to action, has stories at least 2-3 times a week that also with Many, and basically fixing the link in the bio, the Linktree. Let me know if you want me to talk about this, the whole link in bio, Linktree kind of thing. But anyway, that pull them through some sort of sequence to warm them up, to make them aware of their problems and how you can solve these problems, give more value, and then basically take them from there. And from there on, if it's more focused on one specific target audience and one specific or 1 to 3 specific pain points, it's going to be a lot easier to convert these people. And then, only then, and this is why I say none of these systems work if you're an entertainment or like a super broad creator, but then you don't need that many views to kind of convert people. In this case, let's just take a look. You have 6,000 views, sometimes 2,500 views, 7,000 views, 10,000 views. So yeah, in this case, don't you think out of 6,000 to 10,000 targeted views with the same problems, let's just say you have a video with 10,000 views, 10K views, and you get, let's say, 200 comments of super invested people, which is not out of the ordinary. Right? I sometimes have 1,000 comments with 20K views or even less, or let's say 600 comments, doesn't matter. And out of those 200, let's say you convert 3 people to be your clients, which is usually around the average. Obviously, there's a range and everything, but let's not even get into that. But let's just pull this up here. So you have 200 people, and you convert 3 people, so 6 times 500. Let's say you have a $500 product because you're afraid to charge $1,000. You make 3K with a single 10K view reel. Boom. So I hope you're aware of the potential here that creators have and that creators are not really aware of right now, especially if they have their own products and stuff like this. With that being said, the biggest lever to making this whole thing work, obviously, though, are these views. Because if you get suddenly 50K views, it's like a 5 time, it's 15K, right? With these sort of bad conversion metrics. I have another video here in this channel that talks about how I exactly made around $6K with 24K views. And even that is not, set up 100% the right way. So the leverage, the power is really, really there. But like I said, none of these things are going to work if your content doesn't really pull in these people. And if your content strategy is not set up the right way. And all these things begin with hooks. And that's exactly what I fixed in this video for Vanessa on my other channel, where I'll show you exactly how to structure her hooks to get in more people like this so she can be able to make this, right? Beautiful. See you later.